Hello everybody and welcome back to the Legends of Runeterra World Championship. We have 2 semifinalists so far, and we need to figure out who the other 2 are going to be. And welcoming in on the desk, we've got Freak and Skarzig to take over our 3rd quarterfinal match of the day. Freak, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm super stoked to be here. I'm glad I'm getting a cast part of the top 8. We're going to see if we have our 2nd American semifinalist. I've spent the entire broadcast being a homer for my country, so I'm just going to keep doing that.
Skarzig, what about you?
Freak is classic NA bias, but Yamato's
Yes.
just really captured, my attention by bringing Darkness, a deck that nobody, even Deadbolt Doris, right, during the dev interview said was not on his radar at all to be brought to Worlds. And I think that it's a deck that's actually very well positioned despite everything. And Yamato's just been piloting it very well. I'm really excited to see if it might even draw a ban simply because the opponents might not have, prepped or calculated for it while they're preparing their lineups.
And in general, it's not.
Yeah.
If you look at the matchup tables, Darkness is favored against 2 of Aikado's decks, so there's a decent chance it does get banned.
Well, you've already introed one of our players that is participating in this next quarterfinal, but Freak, why don't you tell us about the other player too?
Sure, yeah, with Aikado, he's coming through with a pretty standard lineup here. Obviously coming from America. They both went 5 and 4 in the group stage, so it was a pretty tight fight for him. But yeah, he's bringing, I would say, maybe the 3 sort of most common, sort of believed to be strong mid-range unit-based decks. With Poppy Lulu, with okay, he's running the Ezreal version of Draven, but Draven X is in pretty much every single person's lineup, and they're all pretty similar for the supporting makeup. And then the Zoe Nami, which hasn't actually been winning that much. And again, I'll make fun of Twitter and Reddit because it's what I love to do. The deck has been, pretty 50-50 so far at the World Championship, but obviously, is a strong deck and is everywhere on ladder.
Yeah, now that players have gotten a taste of how to play around the deck, they're saving all of their removals for Nami to shut down that snowball before it happens. Players are having a really hard time finding their footing with the list. We know that Aikado is actually very incredibly confident in the Nami Zoe, leaves it unbanned, is very skilled and just beating it with the Ezreal Draven. And also I want to talk a little bit about the Poppy Lulu. Because this is the Ionian version and not the Bandle City version, you've got more elusives in that deck as well that can go toe to toe with the Nami Zoe, and you use your elusives to also maybe go underneath the Bandle City Poppy Lulu variant. So Aikado, really well constructed lineup here for the meta that he's anticipating.
Yeah, that is one thing that I forgot for some reason, even though I was prepping the matchup, and I have the deck list literally on my screen. The elusives so frequently have 1 health that his list has not been lining up for him. He's actually 1 and 3 with his Poppy Lulu. Here with Yamato, he is undefeated on Darkness, a solid 2-0 on that one. Finally pulled a ban in his last game, but he's winning all his games there. It has been situated pretty well. His sign list is 2 and 2. There's only 1 and 2, so he really kind of did get carried to the fact that he got his wins right away on Darkness and then kind of limped over with the rest of it. Another one of the players who came through at a 2-1 record, as almost everyone did. I think Whatamai is the only person who didn't drop a single match so far this tournament, so everyone's had their stumbles. It is hard to find a lineup that works against literally everybody, and sometimes you just got to get lucky. So, here's a look at his Darkness list. It is, again, undefeated, 2 wins and a ban. I think it's a coin flip. If this one gets banned here, I think it's a worthy choice. He is running a couple of mini-morphs, but there's nothing going to be that big to target. But he's got a Withering Wail, he's got Vile Feast and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure some Poke Sticks. So does have removal and can survive for a while until the sort of Exodia comes online.
Yeah, we've seen Yamato be able to buy a lot of time with this list, but it's just a matter of, how realistic is that game plan when you're waiting on your Senna or your Veigar or something like that to come through for you in the later stages of the game, while your opponent might be forced to slow down in response, and it gives you a lot of time. If you don't get your win condition, this deck just cannot close out the game any other way besides the Darkness. This, combined with Yamato's potential to just stumble with the Plunder, means there are definitely some holes in this lineup. He's been just covering them very well with skilled play and by respecting the Nami Zoe, one of the few players that have been banning it, right? Just not leaving it open and trying to beat it. Just going to get that off of the table, despite none of the players from the Southeast Asia regions bringing the Nami Zoe. They still have to keep that deck within their calculations for going into these matchups.
Absolutely, and like we mentioned very briefly, assuming Darkness is Yeah, Darkness is the one good deck he has that is strong against Nami Zoe. So again, if you think that one's getting banned away, and the matches, to be fair, like for the rest of the lineups are like 55-45. Like Zoe is slightly favored against his other two decks. But yeah, you've got to kind of figure out which way it's going to go, because like I'm very curious what comes through in the ban phase, because again, if Darkness is banned, Nami Zoe is favored in both other matchups, and it's probably the ban you end up going through with. I think you're kind of happy with Plunder with all the pings, you know, probably doing okay against all the 1 health Ionias, and that can kind of work okay. But if you go the other way around, the Draven Scion, the other kind of side here, also looks really good. So the Draven Scion is the ban, by the way. That is the one going on. And if Draven Scion is the ban, what you want to ban statistically is actually the Poppy Lulu. So Yamato, from what I can see based on like Masters level win rate data and talking with other casters about what decks are favored, Yamato guessed the right ban and then, you know, hit the Poppy ban to help out.
Yeah, so we've got Aikado, however, staying with the Ezreal Draven. This is the list that he's known for, he's very comfortable with, he's been on a tear with it. Casanova mentioned it earlier in the broadcast, has been relying on this classical style of deck to just beat every other deck in the metagame, and also the mirror match, right? So now we've got Aikado on his strongest deck, Yamato on the Darkness, which has been overperforming. And we'll have to see if Nami Zoe can maybe try to high roll into a free win, because, you know, that's the bit of the meme, right, Freak, is no Nami, no win.
Yeah, sure. And, you know, sometimes Shelly comes down and it's almost good enough. But, yeah, it really depends how late the game goes. I mean, I know you talked about drawing enough cards. And this is what's funny to me. And this is not aimed at you, because I think, you know, you understand the game very, very well. But one topic I've seen brought up in the community is like, oh, but if this deck just draws all its pieces, it just wins. And I'm
That's
like, cool.
every deck ever
That's
to
every
exist
deck.
in every card
Right.
game.
and not only that, that condition is already accounted for in win rate. Like, if a matchup's 55-45, it's like, but if it draws well, it wins. Yeah, it wins 45% of the time. It can win. Like, it can draw better. Like, this is gonna happen. That's what 55-45 is. Like, that's how that works. But yeah, in terms of the Darkness deck, it's running a version that has a lot of the other Darkness cards, right? There's like 4 different Darkness generators. There's like 3 different Darkness buffers in the deck. Like, you're gonna find something that's gonna get those cards out of there, right? You're gonna find something that's gonna work pretty well. As far as matchups are concerned, though, again, Darkness is 55% or higher in both of its available matchups. Meanwhile, we're looking at Plunder being equal or negative in the 2 matchups out there. So we're gonna have Zoe up against Darkness, which from what I've seen is 55-45 in Darkness's favor.
Yeah, you've got the ability to generate a lot of removal over and over and over again to keep pace with these elusives being established. Catalyzer in the early hand is fantastic. We know that Nami Zoe wants to focus a lot on its own game plan, doesn't really do a good job of keeping your opponent from establishing theirs. So this Catalyzer, depending on how this Double Trouble lands, depending on if the Make It Rain is cashed in early, could maybe get a couple reps and then put Yamato on a clear trajectory to victory.
For sure. And obviously, if you can ever, you know, just get rid of those combat tricks or get rid of the removal, you're suddenly feeling really, really great. Looking to find a champion at some point for the very late Rekindler. All right, who's going to answer this one? No one's going to have innately enough health. Okay, sure, you can make it rain and block with Zoe so you don't get a second charge, but...
Yeah, and so this is what you want to see with Darkness. We've got Catalyzer, we've got Stilted Robemaker, although there aren't any Darkness generators yet in the hand, because we need to wait for like 2 or 3 rounds anyway before the Nami and the really key targets start to hit the board. This is actually pretty acceptable for Yamato, and we've seen it repeatedly, Freak, that the Nami Zoe starts to run out of cards the game, and now Yamato can sit on this prank, wait for Aikado to be down to 2 or 3 cards, and then get vision and see, okay, what are your last handful of plays you might be up to, and then plan accordingly.
For sure. As far as card draw is concerned, worth pointing out the individual pieces of how this deck is going. Astral Protection is in Aikado's deck, so it, you know, if you go for a Darkness nuke on Admiral Shelley or, you know, Nami or something, you can buff it up, get it to 7 or 8 health, and suddenly it's going to live. He's running an individual pick a card as well on purpose for some card draw. You mentioned the ability to run out of cards, 3 Pale Cascades, a pick a card, obviously the 3 Burblefish, like. There's a little bit of card draw, not a lot, obviously, but there's just a little bit out there that you have a chance with. So You know, kind of looking for those, and, you know, worst comes to worst, hey, maybe you steal a hidden pathways from Spell Thief down the line. So, you know, sometimes there's card drop, but yeah, you're right. If you run out of gas, you're probably dead to the late game.
Yeah, Yamato, I've actually had this happen before in the mirror match, where you get to the late game and maybe you've cast a couple mini morphs to stop Admiral Shelley or Nami from snowballing. Then Aikado can then use Spell Thief to get the mini morphs and then turn those back on you to deny your Vegars and your Sennas.
Yeah.
So if this goes to the late game, it's actually going to be a really big grind, because Yamato can control the board, but needs Veigar in play or the Ishtali Sentinels to actually get those darknesses to start going face. Second Catalyzer here, still very threatening. Aikado's under a lot of pressure. Now realizes, okay, now my Namis and my Shellers are going to be that much harder to put into play. Moonglow could be the ticket here.
We're tracking darkness damage. Right now we're at 3. You know, Grant everywhere, permanently for the rest of the game. It's going to get stronger. And waiting to see, yeah, if they ever can get removed. Double Trouble could find some decent targets, but right now, nothing in hand is going to keep those 3/2s from striking. So even if they trade down, it's like, well, my darkness is at 4. And, you know, we're getting better, we're getting better. There's the Veigar right on time, basically.
Yeah, you can just throw this down. There's no threat against it, and now you have this passive darkness generation. You do get 1 copy from Veigar when he first comes into play, which is nice. You can start sitting on that, right? Zoe's not really a target that you're super worried about at this particular moment because of your Pokey Sticks and your Vile Feast. You're pretty confident you can deal with her at any rate. We've seen Zoe level up a couple times as well as a secret win condition. While you're worried about the Namis and the Zoes, excuse me, Nami and Shelley, then Zoe comes through with her level up, and
Up
suddenly
to 5,
you've got...
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I was counting, I want to say, I was counting already, but the observer made it look like I just read the screen in front of me. But, you know, we had 3 hits from the catalyzers. Next round, we're going to 6. And yeah, Zoe Nami, they don't have challengers. They're direct damage. It's like, well, you could have, like, line them up and make it rain, and you can spawn some barrels, and you can hush for a round, but that's not going to stop a round start trigger, so it's not going to do anything against Veigar. And it's like, well, all right, we're getting some real big Narctis hits here.
The good news, I suppose, is that the Catalyzer is the biggest threat that's in play right now, and maybe you can just take a little chip damage from Veigar and Otterpuss on your Nexus as you are trying to buy time, probably just for Astral Protection, right? You need a huge chunk of HP to try to survive that initial darkness and at least get some value out of the Nami or the Shelley before that removal resolves.
All right, darkness is at 6. Which means basically, what, 2 casts are gonna level up Veigar. I don't know if you're gonna get all the way to 12, but hey, on round 11, you know, go for it. You know, maybe it lines up, but it's actually a single shot puts you across. But yeah, I want to look at Aikado's lines of play at this point because, okay, you can generate some more units. Keep in mind, a bit shy on units. Gifts from Beyond can get you there a little bit. You can summon one of your Sparkle Flies. So you're looking at, you know, the ability to get about 4 to 5 units on board. And then with that, put down Admiral Shelley and then spam through your spells. That's going to be okay looking. Obviously, we're still going to generate through with Zoe as well. So the idea of getting a wide buff board, there's no Nami, but Shelley plus like 3 elusives is not horrible.
Yeah, we've got the Burblefish already waiting to go. That's going to get discounted as spells are played. Serpent was picked there over the Moonglow because I think Aikado is just saying, okay, now I want diverse cards. I want to get this this Zoe leveled up. And when you get that ability to share your keywords, that's going to persist even if Zoe eventually does get removed from the board. And that means you have a lot more flexibility with Shelley and things of that nature. Not only buffing your board, but granting it elusives. It'll make something like Double Trouble a lot more threatening.
And I think we're getting, you mentioned the Zoe level up, I agree, we're getting pretty close to that one, but also I think on round 7, we're going to see probably like a 4/4 Serpent come in and go attack Veigar.
Just to get him off the board, exactly.
Yeah, and get him off the board in time, because, okay, you can rekindle it back, and that's actually not horrible, but, you know, you buy a bit of a reprieve, you get the rekindler out, we still don't see Senna, so, is Shelley Sentinel? I mean, to be fair, that's going to do, like, 8 to face. You just need that one more time. So we aren't that far away from Yamato getting to cast to face twice to win the game. If you can find a second Ashali Sentinel, for example. But yeah, like both these players are like about 3 rounds away from some really like cataclysmic combos.
The deck from Aikado is known for its ability to just set up this big wall and close out the game early. But there is that through line. There's a little bit of combo DNA here that Aikado is trying to exploit in this control matchup, where you're not really playing a lot to the board. You've got some steady value generation with the Zoe, thanks to the spell shield as well. And that explosive turn, Aikado seems to have been planning this from the very beginning. Burblefish now coming down and generating a Gifts from Beyond?
Yeah, Gifts from Beyond, so you can get all 3 Sparkleflies into the game. You've obviously drawn 1, so Gift's gonna have to not be crescendum. At a certain point, these 2 can be, but you're gonna run out pretty quickly. And yeah, I think the whole game plan is like, okay, what round am I throwing down Shelly? Darkness goes on the stack, and I spam burst spells to like buff my board, and then Shelly bites the dust, because that's what's gonna be happening. Starlight Sentinel comes down now, so that we can get the first half of face damage, but that means we don't get an extra darkness generated.
Fortunately, with Stilted Robemaker, the 2 mana is going to make this a lot more flexible going into the later stages. And this is sort of where the deck begins to struggle a bit, right, Freak? Where you want to start playing these really expensive units, and then you're giving up your reactivity to Aikado's plays. Another expensive summon like that could really swing the gate wide open for Aikado to just pop off.
I'm thinking about it though. I am like a little surprised that this card has come down, because obviously she's a darkness generator in the first place. Okay, so we're missing the generation, but also, the darkness you cast targets face this round. So it says, yeah, you know what? This is gonna be enough damage here. We're gonna go ahead and push you down to about 5.
Looking to get Vhagar flipped and close it out. Look at that, 8 damage, 16. Yep. Yeah, so Yamato saw the line, leveling up the Vhagar. Now that he's flipped into Grand Overseer Vhagar, he's going to generate a darkness at the start of the next round.
Okay. Yep, that's going to be nice. You're going to have generation. You're going to start blowing stuff up, but you still, I don't believe, get the target face until you get leveled Senna or another Ishtali Sentinel. So the rest of the damage, maybe your board is big enough. You know, right now you can put down Shelly without her dying. You have first actions. So you can also play a unit. You can put a Crescendum down or just hard play a Sparklefly and just say, yeah, you can nuke Shelly, but I can get my buffs off.
Right now, Aikado needs to heal up, needs to survive this darkness at the start of the next round. When Vhagar generates it, he's also going to continuously buff it. He's been in play since round 4, just chilling there. Aikado really has no means to answer this unit, and now your darkness can target anything. Crescendum trying to come through and get this wide board set up, but he just doesn't have enough time. There is the line of Pale Cascade, get third Guiding Touch, just barely survive, I think, with 1 or 2 points of HP, but now we've got Poke's Stick. Just a bit too slow for Aikado. I liked the line, right? We were talking about this explosive Shelly turn coming up, but Ishtali's Sentinel just accelerated Vhagar way beyond what Aikado had planned for here.
Okay, well, there's level 2 Zoe, so you can get your whole squad elusive, you can get them lifesteal, and gosh, okay.
So with the lifesteal on the open attack, will it be just enough to save you from the darkness on Vhagar?
Well,
because it is still slow speed, yes.
Yeah. You're gonna heal for 4. You have 2 Pale Cascades. No way to buff this, because, and it's dealing 9. So you do have enough to live, but 2 rounds from... And actually, 1 less round than that, because a Pokestick is in the hand. So you've got 10. You're 1 shy of dying, so, next round, you're still dead to darkness. Says, okay,
and Aikado
what else
sees
can
this
I
in
do?
the hand. Activates the Pale Cascade for more draw. I like this. More draw,
Unless you draw...
more lifesteal.
Okay. It gives you 1 more round to live. But even that's not really true, because darkness this round, darkness next round is still going to kill. So I don't know how you get the rest of the way here.
Maybe another Pale Cascade here to draw even more lifesteal even further.
But you can't even attack. Like, you're getting nuked here and you're getting nuked next turn, right?
Yeah, you can do just darkness this round, and then Yamato's first action as a slow speed spell on the stack is going to be darkness. So game 1 coming through for Yamato here. Darkness managing to find the line. It seems that Nami has just been MIA for all of these players.
The one option, although mana wasn't going to be there, was to generate a nuke, right? Just obliterate Vhagar, but the zero cost, behold the infinite. But
try
down
to
to
get,
4 mana means it's not going to happen.
Yeah, even goes for the Poke Stick here. Just wants to draw a few more cards just to, as a hedge, right? Just you want as much resources going to the next round, but we've got Darkness coming through surely. Enraged Yeti.
Sure, whatever. At this point, though, there's not enough face healing. There's no way to get an attack token and lifesteal in time. Aikado knows it. You see his posture. He's like, yep, Darkness is going face. Never had a chance to get rid of Veigar.
But Veigar, again, the deck from Yamato that he's known for, the only player to bring it here to the top 16 to make it all the way to the top 8 and the World Championships. And Aikado saying, fine, you get your win on your power deck. This means I still have another shot with Zoe Nami, a very fierce, explosive deck, and Aikado still has his patented, Draven Ezreal waiting in the wings there. Plunder has been historically one of the weakest links of Yamato's lineup, and I think across multiple lineups from different players over the World's broadcast.
All right, so we take a look at the matchups. I'm still kicking myself over constantly getting the Senna and Veigar level ups backwards, which is obviously silly of me. But yeah, Plunder versus Ezreal Draven from public data is basically a coin flip for Masters Tier ladder. Zoe Nami is favored. So the matchup that was won by Yamato, like, that was a little expected. It was 55-45. Obviously, it worked out really, really well. Had Veigar on 4. It's pretty much unanswered by the deck. Hey, that's why you got your odds here. Zoe Nami versus Plunder is just as favored, if not more so, for the Zoe. So if that's the run back, that's going to look pretty good. And then you've got a really, really close matchup in the Ezreal versus Plunder.
And we'll have to see if Aikado is going to actually swap. Very rarely are the players actually changing their decks, but Aikado just wants to maybe shift focus here, wants to shake things off. You never know what's going to, fix your mental state. I think maybe at this level of competition, a little superstition never hurt. And now we've got Lost Soul in the opening hand and Tri-Beam and Probulator, so Aikado really has the power cards he needs for this matchup. And Yamato sitting on an all-star cast of Plunder generators to maybe curve into a Gangplank or a Sejuani at the top end. The key card to worry about, and we've seen it time and time again when Plunder is on deck, is the aloof Travelers, blowing out these heavy champions and late game win conditions from this list.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to look for is how it's going. Nice top deck, by the way. Now, you're not swinging on 1, but you're still getting a 3-3 Jagged Butcher. Your experience 1 for a Sejuani and Gangplank. Round 1 and 2 are likely to be a bit of a pass here, as you tend to with any of these 3-drop decks. Any of the Draven variants, you're almost always passing a 1 and 2, unless you're running like a House Spider to survive an aggro lineup, but that's not happening here. So you can consider Thermo. It's not the worst idea. You might block a Plunder trigger. Never mind, not anymore. You're like, all right, I'm taking a lot here.
That is, Yamato is going for blood here.
Yeah.
Saying, I can get my 3 damage, but, there is the chance of get excited, maybe just denying this entire swing, but I'm just going to double down, right? If Aikado had come up empty there, that's so much damage so early in the game, that's going to buy you tempo. But fortunately, Aikado does throw in the beam, which is actually really nice from this position because that's one of the best clean answers to Sejuani and Gangplank if they come down.
All right, we're on 2 Plunder triggers. We're also on 2 buffs to the Tri-Beam Improbulator. So those are both accelerating pretty quickly. Looks like we're not going to find any round 3 face damage, so Sejuani and Gangplank will not gain XP on this round, but honestly feels good to start spawning some Powder Monkeys. Yeah,
Monkey Idol on 3 is just going to carry through for the remaining turns. This means that a champion top deck will be leveled almost on curve. You're also way wider than Aikado. Not only are you getting the free damage from the Powder Monkey, you're just getting some chip damage here. I really like this. Yamato, as a safety, could just maybe hold back one of these, the 2-1s, just as a blocker, but we saw him go for the aggressive development before, might not take the open attack, is still considering the line of, do I want to go for Croaker? Do I want to go for Butcher Croaker here?
Yeah, I kind of like it this way. You're going to get the 2-1 Mystic shotted almost certainly so that you can stay alive and not run out of health too fast, but you're still taking 3 on this attack. I like getting the Plunder Trigger first and getting the 3-3 for the Butcher because almost anything you play, there's going to be something that's going to answer it. If a Spider stunts, it's a 2-for-1, that feels bad. If the the Lost Soul is there, or the other version, the Twin Blade Revenants, it's like that's just an eat of the cards. Like you're not getting more damage putting a Butcher down, so yeah, might as well just wait it out, just swing now and not give him the block. So I think this is definitely the right option based on what was in hand. We do get 3 face damage down to 12. That's experience number 3 now for Sejuani and Gangplank, and Butcher comes down as a 3-3, and you can just ping it with your Fortune Croaker.
Yeah, drop down to a 3-2. Very unfortunate that Aikado actually hasn't found Ravenous Flock. The Fortune Croaker can become a detriment. You're opening up your units to be removed, and even Ravenous Flock cutting off the value of the Powder Monkey would be so important here. No Draven as well. I think that you could probably count the games on one hand that we've seen. There's been 100% Draven representation for everybody's lineups, and the amount of games that he hasn't shown up on 3 or dang near close. But Twin Blade Revenant hoping to even this out just a little bit. This tempo, Make It Rain, is glorious to take out the 4-1 and remain wide.
Yeah. Well, goodbye to the monkey generation, but obviously, pretty happy on the Make It Rain. Nope, just kidding. I want one more Powder Monkey. What else are you going to remove but this? I mean, you're getting so much damage coming to face pretty soon. Monkey's going to blow up with you at 10, and then you've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're putting your opponent at 2 with 1 from Make It Rain. And there is no interaction in the hand right now for Aikado.
Yeah, there is no healing available. Yamato still has the ability to top deck even more burn. This is one of the most aggressive lines we've ever seen from this deck. It's been just a lot of middling hands, or a lot of very cursed heavy hands, or just you have your late game prepared and it gets blown up by Aloof Traveler, and Aikado just coming up empty here in the mid game. We've got double Boom Baboon waiting there, but there's just didn't get here 2 or 3 rounds earlier where you needed those blockers.
Yeah, drew 2 of his 6-1 drops, drew a solid 2 or 3 of 8-2 drops. Like a little bit fortunate drawing so much of the low end, but I mean it's lined up so incredibly well. Again, this is an attack that's worth 9, or sorry, 8, right? Hold on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it was worth 8 with 1 from Make It Rain. So you find 1 damage anywhere and you're done.
And we've got Zap Sprayfin that's going to tutor for maybe something here. And Yamato, again, thinking, we're seeing the slight shifts between being very aggressive, but still considering these greedier lines of, you think I can develop into this? I think I can develop into this. How much removal? We haven't seen hardly any removal.
That's huge.
Mystic is
that Mystic
huge.
Shot. Now your health, instead of being at 1 based on Yamato's hand, is at 4. That is a bit more manageable. If you never draw a Gangplank, you're kind of okay. Travelers is actually not bad here. I feel like it'll line up well and get rid of the Dreadway.
You're getting rid of the Dreadway. It's very risky to draw your opponent a card, but sure enough in the corner that you need to get some resources of your own. Arachnoid Sentry, a huge pickup here for defense. There's 2 in the hand. We've got Twin Blade Revenant still ready to go. If the amount of burn Yamato draws does not total up to 5, Aikado is now in a position to very easily stabilize from here and just start swinging.
So the spells this card can draw: 3 Make It Rains, 1 3 Sisters, 1 Parlay, 3 Warning Shots. You are really confident, like more often than not, that this is doing 1 to face. That the card that was drawn deals 1 to face. That's what you're kind of most likely to be looking at here. Second Loop Travel is going to actually get rid of. Is it going to be Zap? Is it going to be
the Yordle Grifter? So
that
takes the Warning Shot off the table. There's no chance to nab a Get Excited or a Mystic Shot or something.
Yep. But you're reading right now. You're saying, okay, I can't get my Challenger down. I can't afford Tribeam and Pobulator. Okay, now you're like, shoot, there's 2 elusives, and they probably both drew 1 damage to face. I'm dead on board in most lines here. And without even knowing about the Twin Sisters, it's going to just like completely seal the deal. So I don't know how he removes the elusives. Like, you're hoping again to like top deck removal to get rid of Zap, and we know that's going to turn into a +3/+4, and it's just over. I don't think Aikado has much. Some Dredger draw, huge.
Another Mystic Shot. There is still mana for Fury of the North here to save the Zap Sprayfin, but might be holding this. There is only, as you said, 1 copy of 3 Sisters. That flexibility is very important to generate that Fury of the North, or even like an Entomb or something.
Yeah. Oh, Yamato's like, he knows, like, I've got so much traction here. I've got 3 damage almost directly to face from hand, plus the 3 sisters gonna block almost any removal. Like, knows he's already dodged the Ravenous Flock angle.
Interesting. Goes for the Make It Rain instead of going for Parley first. Just to clear this 4-1, this guarantees the second Make It Rain can hit the Nexus.
Yeah, I'm curious the order there. It doesn't ultimately obviously matter.
Yeah, because you can send Parley directly to the Nexus. I suppose if you use Parley on the Sump Dredger, there is reactivity from Aikado to kill his own unit to prevent that 1 face damage. But now we've got Lethal on the stack. Mystic Shot to save, and this will be responded to by Fury of the North.
And suddenly, it's got 5 attack, it's got 6 health, and Yamato, his Darkness deck is still undefeated. He's thinking, like, what else could there be? Is it worth it? Do I have anything else I need to remove?
Yeah, there's nothing to stop this here. You get Fury of the North at burst speed, so you can still do both actions in one.
Yeah. It's not damaged on the stack. There's no way to Scorched Earth it or Ravenous Flock it. Even a Get Excited won't kill it. You need, like, 2 Get Exciteds. Like, that's not gonna happen. This is looking like exactly what you want.
Buffs
Goes the other way.
One just to make sure.
I'm not even sure what you're playing around, but who cares? You made it happen, and a 2-0 Yamato from Japan's in the semifinals.
Absolutely amazing. Yamato was a relatively unknown player to the casting desk. We were making him out to be an underdog, but at this level of competition, you know he deserves to be here, and he's proving it time and time again. At the end there, he's calculating some sort of card that we couldn't even perceive. These players are just operating at an entire plane of existence.
Time Winder Get Excited, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But, you know, something that I love about Yamato as a player is, like, within the World Championship, he has shown us that he's incredibly good at predicting bans that are going to be coming through and countering that. And also, I have no idea how he is squeaking through after winning with Darkness and then still managing to find a win with the other deck that is unbanned. I think that is incredible. It shows a very, very high level of skill. And so, looking at the bracket, Yamato is moving on to the semi-finals. This is so exciting to get a chance to see. I am sure that everybody is excited about seeing the Darkness deck still undefeated with 3 wins under Yamato's belt. And it will be up to the match between Shihu and Real Key to see who's going to be making it to the other semi-final. So, Freak, Skarzik, thank you so much for taking us through that last match.